Last year, we saw the students here in Los Angeles Unified do massive walkouts. Students were walking out, students were rebelling. Yesterday, we saw college students revolt all across California, revolting in ways that they have not revolted since the civil rights movement.
Right now, in the state of California is the whole movement towards the privatization of education, making education affordable only to people of privilege and not affordable to working class and middle class people.
Right now, our students are living in uncertain times. Will they be able to graduate and get a job? Will they be able to afford higher education?
I mean, this is a stake in the heart of education, and it has been getting bad, and it has been getting bad, and it just got much worse. You know, it hit the fan.
We have two things that are happening in education right now. One, on one side is the budget cuts, and that's drastically hitting our country.
I believe everybody is entitled to have an education, and my dream is that we will return to the California dream that I was able to benefit from in the 1960s, to have an affordable education for everybody.
In California, we set the master plan for education. That education basically would be affordable and in the reach with everybody in California. That's why we have a Cal State system and we have a UC system, a three-tier system, so that everybody in California, once they graduate from high school, they can go through one of these three institutions and continue on their education. It's a great plan. Unfortunately, with the way the budget cuts are going right now, that's out of reach for most students now. They can't do it. They can't afford to go to Cal State LA. They can't afford to go to UCLA. So what we saw yesterday on March 4th, when thousands upon thousands, I think the majority were by far students, out there marching, basically giving the message to the governor and the state and the powers and those lobbyists that are out there that we're not gonna stand for this. We're not going to stand for this. We have an uprising of students, of teachers, of educators, of parents that are saying, hey, ya basta, no more. We're not going to stand for continuing cuts to education.
I've lived in Japan, I've lived in the Netherlands, I've lived in Norway, and in all of these countries, education is entirely affordable.
The other side, we have the privatization of education, which is advancing free market ideals into the classroom. Some of these ideas are detrimental to our students because they treat our students as commodities, not as people. And we have to make that very clear. These are students, these are human beings we're talking about.
It has paved the way for our school district to basically start breaking up the district and giving away the schools to outside bidders, basically, and so many of those could be charter schools.
What does charter schools mean for public education? Well, it means many charter schools are non-union. Unions have a long history of advocating for the students. Teachers have had a long history of advocating for students.
The charter schools do not have to accept children who have IEPs, which means that they don't have to serve children who may be academically appropriate but need some other supports. Personally, I have a child who has an IEP due to some behavioral issues, who I would like to be in a high-performing school, but who needs educational supports in terms of being able to control her behavior, people to keep her on task, and it eliminates that choice for me.
The charter schools aren't equipped. They're not equipped to cater to special ed students. They're not. Many of them don't have the capacity to do that. Many of them don't have the facilities to do that. So we're seeing that these charter schools are for some students, not for all students. My dream for the futures of education is really embrace our students and fully fund education and the social services that are needed in order to really we could make this country more equitable.
The original dream in California was that everybody could have an education. Everybody could have an education, an affordable education. And the nightmare of where we are right now is that only the very wealthy can afford to have an education.
Sueño de libertad, los ojos de todos aquellos que luchan para alcanzar ese sueño de vivir sin el miedo de caer. Nada ni nadie nos va a detener. Hoy mi alma implora y mi corazón pregunta, ¿por qué no todos somos igual?